So, Evan, obviously your character has undergone possibly the most profound transformation of anyone, beginning at the end of last season. I mean, she's a very, very different character than she was last season, and I'm just curious as an actress how you find a thread of commonality within the character while becoming somebody so obviously different and strong. As you say in the premiere, there's part of you that's still the ranch girl, and there's part of you that's Wyatt, and your final role is yourself. And I'm wondering how you integrate those various identities into what will be yourself.
I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I really didn't know who my character was season 2. There was this kind of character Wyatt talked about in hushed tones, and it was like this thing at the finale of, oh, okay, I'm finally Wyatt. Who is that? You know, and so I met with Joan and Lisa at the beginning of the season, and I said, okay, so who is this character? What is the vibe? Who is he? And they went, Wyatt's a girl's name too. I said, fair enough. So who is she? And Jonah said, I don't know, there's never really been a character like her before. So we kind of just built her from the ground up, and I feel like we really found this new version of her just by doing. I mean, I remember showing up to the first day of work going, I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to do or who I'm playing anymore. But we would just try different things, when we could, and played around with different levels, how much of the old Dolores should be there, how much of Wyatt should be there, how much the accent should be there, when should the accent drop, when should it come back. We kind of made these rules for her about different situations that she's in and who the dominant character would be in different situations and with different people. It was sort of kind of a trial and error, and then I feel like we found this really nice groove that married all three. But it was definitely a challenge. Yeah.
I swear to God, even though I saw the whole fucking season, I thought, they don't mean it. No. She's gonna go. And I didn't even think about, of course she's not going to leave the park, because it's a nightmare out there. She's done everything to escape these motherfucking human beings, as if she's going to go into a world where it's completely populated by them. And it's that, she just was so desperate to leave that death was ahead, and it was better than where she was. So it was this state of limbo, purgatory, hell that she finds herself. It's not as simple as going back into the park. It's, my liberation is a disaster, and what I'm going to is a disaster. So that's basically where we kind of started out. But yeah, I mean, it's love. Love is the answer. But the thing about Maeve is that she responded to the betrayal of what had happened to her in such a profound way. And I think that's what audiences related to, was if you discover that everything about who you are, all the promises that were made to you, your identity is all a lie. I mean, it is something that we can relate to, that we're being lied to, that our protectors, our, gods are just creating a madness for us all to, pay for, let's face it.
I have no idea
our
what you're
taxes.
talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. It's something that people can identify with, and accidentally Westworld came about at a time when we were all really struggling with these questions. So, man, woman, you identified with Maeve and her awakening to that betrayal, So yeah, what is the ultimate, what's the word when you get saved? What's going to redeem you is love. Of course it is that you have to expand and find a deeper understanding, a deeper love. But she's a robot, so how the fuck's she gonna do that?
It feels like when we work on the show, we actually do walk into the park. I even say that when I go back to work now. I'm saying I'm going back into the park. Because it's this all-consuming thing. Like when I drive to work, I see Westworld in the distance just getting bigger and bigger, and my eyes get wider and wider, and I'm like, oh, here we go. You know, because I think there were even some days that we showed up to work on season 2, and I just went, hey, what episode is this? And you went, it's 7. No. Yeah, I don't know. Or we'd go, it's 7. No, it's 3. It's 7. No, it's 3. And then the first day would be like, it's 1.
And then it ends up being 4.
And then it ends up, and then they move it to 4. Yeah.
For a show that is so cerebral, how do you feel about this relationship with your daughter bringing a sort of emotional connection to the show going forward?
I was in complete denial about the fact that Maeve goes back into the park, to be honest. I mean, really and truly, these guys know that. I wanted her to get out of there so desperately. And I was wedded to that belief. And, you know, we don't know what's going to happen episode to episode. I mean, I knew the arc of the character, of course, but I didn't know, I can't remember when you guys told me, but that she was going to make that decision to turn around.
The logistics of shooting the season required that we shoot in the first maybe 4 or 5 weeks scenes from 7 or 8 episodes. Not all of which I had read fully. In fact, most of which I hadn't read. And so that was useful because I had kind of insisted that I just focus on the moment. And that's really, in some ways, what Bernard is going through, kind of just a basic, in the midst of this chaos and the rebellion of the computers, there's the most granular understanding of his existence is he's struggling with orientation with time and with place. And so that was really kind of a fun exercise in that it required me to try to understand the specifics of the moment in a way that served the interest of the character. I think I described it early on as Bernard waking up on the beach or in a mud pile in the middle of Woodstock, having eaten the wrong acid, and everything has gone to hell, and he's trying to survive it somehow. So, yeah, it's Bernard, psilocybin Bernard, at the beginning of season 2, and away we go.
One of the first sequences of nudity from season 1 was the scene where, for those of you who've seen it, where Maeve's she wakes up from the operation and her stomach's hanging out and she runs through this unbelievable space and it's horrifying. And Jonah was shooting it, and I remember we did a take and he rushed out from behind the camera, made everybody turn around, and got me a robe, the director. And I just wanted to cry because I'd never, ever been treated like that in a situation where I was nude. And I've been, half or semi-nude or nude a lot in movies. I swear to God, even though I saw the whole fucking season, I thought, they don't mean it. No, she's gonna go. And I didn't even think about, of course she's not gonna leave the park, because it's a nightmare out there. She's done everything to escape these motherfucking human beings, as if she's gonna go into a world where it's completely populated by them. And it's that, she just was so desperate to leave that death was ahead, and it was better than where she was. So it was this state of limbo, purgatory, hell that she finds herself. It's not as simple as going back into the park. It's my liberation is a disaster, and what I'm going to is a disaster. So that's basically where we kind of started out.